You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. UPND leader HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to speed up honeybee investigations. Health Minister directs ZEMA to investigate indiscriminate waste disposal in CHILENJE. 10-year-old girl narrates how a 35-year-old man defiled her and 3 other girls in the LUSAKA Magistrate Court. In international news, Ugandan child soldier war crimes. And in news, Rotherham chairman Tony Stewart responds to Wayne Rooney's criticism after champions win over Derby. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day. In a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television. For non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage, Zambia needs Camnet television. For national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia, watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Health Minister Dr. Jonas Chanda has directed clinical services to work with the provincial and district health directors to curtail the indiscriminate disposal of healthcare waste. Dr. Chanda has also called on the Zambia Environmental Management Agency and the local authorities to address the issues of improper disposal of medical waste, which he said subjects citizens to health risks. On Sunday, Camnet TV News unveiled an anomaly where people are indiscriminately dumping medical waste at an illegal garbage dump site in Lusaka's old CHILENJE cemetery in Kawata constituency. A check by Camnet TV News crew found a range of materials from used needles and syringes to solid dressings and diagnostic samples, among other things. And Chanda says healthcare waste is dangerous as it exposes people to diseases such as hepatitis and HIV. More in this report.
Healthcare waste is the waste that has been generated by healthcare facilities. If this waste is not disposed of properly, it poses serious health hazards as it can cause secondary disease transmission. Waste that is openly burned or incinerated without adequate pollution control can expose those in the surrounding community to toxic contaminants. On Sunday, Camnet TV exposed an irregularity in the disposition of healthcare waste at an illegal dump site by the old CHILENJE cemetery. Other than dumping municipal waste, some unknown health institutions have started dumping medical waste at a time when the country is fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Kenneth Lungu, a CHILENJE resident, shared with this journalist his displeasure.
What is happening on dump site, Kamanda Kakudala, Bantu Ambakutaya, Mungaona Makiti, Yonse, it's health hazard. I think when we're fighting Corona, this is what is happening now, Commander. And we're to remember government, please. We
also spoke to Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager George Sichimba, who assured to engage the Ministry of Health and the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, to get to the bottom of the matter. We also followed up the matter with Health Minister Dr. Jonas Chanda, who has since called for speedy intervention.
And environmental protection. So protection of the environment, whether with waste management from hospitals or any other source, is key. Because what we call social determinants of health, that is where diseases come from. If you indiscriminately throw medical waste. Someone steps on it, they can get all sorts of diseases, hepatitis, HIV, all sorts of diseases. So that should not be allowed. And I think the director of clinical services work with the provincial health directors, the district health directors, and the heads of these facilities to ensure that we don't have a repeat of such. And that is what we expect. And also institutions like ZEMA, the Zambia Environment Management Authority, should work very closely with the Minister of Health, including the Public Health, Director of Public Health at LUSAKA City Council and all councils. Government does not work in silos. It works in an integrated manner. The local authorities, ZEMA, the Minister of Health, all working together with the public and the media, of course, the fourth estate in a democracy. We all work together to keep our environment clean.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Jonas Chanda has warned all schools flaunting COVID-19 preventive guidelines of possible closure. The Health Minister says any school that will be found wanting will be closed pending ratification of the prescribed measures. And the Minister says poor adherence to the set health measures has contributed to the spike in the number of COVID-19 cases being recorded. Dr. Chanda was speaking at the COVID-19 update on Thursday, where he revealed that 1,514 new COVID-19 cases have been recorded in the last 24 hours and 8 deaths. Details in this report.
Debates from the parents and stakeholders have continued to surface as to whether it is safe for children to be in school in the midst of the continued rise in the COVID-19 cases in the country. While others have argued that sending children to school is a death trap, others have also urged that ensuring strict adherence to the said standard is key at ensuring that school calendars are not disturbed as children get back in school. It is in this line that Minister of Health Dr. Jonas Chanda has sent a strong warning to all school owners that they risk having their schools and institutions shut if found relaxed in enforcing the COVID-19 measures.
Reports will continue to be received periodically from districts and provinces on the status of adherence to the guidelines. Any schools and learning institutions that will be found wanting in this regard will be closed pending rectification of the prescribed measures. In short, if there is a school which is open, a college or university, and it is found not to be adhering to public health measures against COVID, we will not hesitate to close it. We will close it so that they can do their homework on how to best protect the pupils, the students, and the teaching staff.
The minister is also concerned at the levels of the relaxation by the public to the state guidelines of COVID-19 prevention.
It is disheartening, countrymen and women, to note that almost 1 year into the pandemic, a simple measure such as correct and consistent use of face masks, in addition to our other golden rules, is still being met with poor adherence and flagrant disregard by many members of the public. We are revisiting our models to determine how best we can improve adherence by the public to face masking, especially in public, and other golden rules.
And in the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 1,514 new COVID-19 cases out of 8,598 tests conducted, while 8 new deaths have been recorded, the lowest in 2 weeks.
In 4 hours, we conducted 8,598 tests, out of which 1,514 were new cases, positive. So we have 1,514 new cases for COVID. We continue to note an encouraging reduction in the number of mortalities recorded daily. In the past 24 hours, regrettably, we recorded 8 new deaths, the lowest mortality figure reported in the past 2 weeks.
COVID-19 has continued to be a threat to the economy, and ensuring the stop of the spread of the pandemic is crucial to ensuring that the fight against the pandemic is won. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Raphael Nakachenda says human survival depends on clean and safe water and a habitable environment. Hence, government continues to ensure that this is attainable countrywide. In this regard, Mr. Nakachinda has re-echoed his recent call for local authorities to include all necessities like water, sanitation and electricity for better planning. He says when the local authorities are allocating land for construction, institutions responsible for electricity, water and sewage be involved so as to have a well-planned and coordinated settlement, unlike what is currently obtaining, where development is sanctioned without considering where and how other services like electricity, water and sewerage lines will be placed. And LUSAKA Water and Sewerage Company Managing Director Jonathan Kampata says the company is working round the clock to have water supply so that rationing can be a thing of the past.
Further developments on their residential places that have not been mainly sanctioned by the local authority, or sometimes there's been reluctance on the part of the local authority to enforce the planning, to make sure that whatever you construct does not disrupt or destroy infrastructure that provides, for example, sanitation. So we are now constructing new sanitation infrastructure, when in fact the old one had actually been destroyed because of the planned construction of structures in the residential. I think the local authority also engaged the Minister of Local Government, and through him to local authorities like the Lusaka City Council, and I'll call upon the vibrant mayor to take keen interest in some of these challenges, because we're investing a lot of money. The government has to mobilize $300 million just to undertake these projects, when in fact we could have been beefing up on the already existing infrastructure and maybe rehabilitate.
That even as we go through the challenges of that water supply, we expect customers to pay at least for the water which they are receiving. The issues of adequate water will come to an end soon. We are developing various projects, including the Kafue Bulb, which is going to bring in additional water to Matero. The issue really is the population growth and inability to meet that demand over time. So what we are doing right now is just to try and ration the little water which is there to ensure that there's equitable distribution. So
United Party for National Development UPND President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA has urged the Anti-Corruption Commission to quicken investigations into the HONEYBEE substandard medical kit scandal. In his letter to the ACC dated 3rd February 2021, the UPND leader states that it is difficult to imagine the needless loss of life such as recklessness caused to patients and other ordinary citizens. Mr. HICHILEMA has expressed utmost concern on the revelations made during the hearing of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee PAC on the 16th of January 2021, during which various stakeholders revealed to the shock and dismay of the UPND and other concerned citizens how a company by the name of HONEYBEE Pharmacy Limited supplied expired and substandard drugs and medical equipment to medical stores. He has since urged the anti-corruption body to quickly investigate the scandal and bring to book all those who will be found wanting. The letter has also been copied to the Inspector General of Police, Kakoma Kanganja, the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, and the Ministry of Home Affairs. Meanwhile, the UPND says all well-meaning Zambians must condemn sentiments by Catholic priest Father Laston Lupupa, suggesting that it's better to rig an election than to allow some people to govern. UPND Deputy Secretary General Patrick Mcheleka believes the comments made by Father Lupupa do not reflect the position of the Catholic Church, which he said firmly believes in faith and justice, but his personal feelings. Mr. Mcheleka says Father Lupupa has taken a partisan stance by openly aligning himself to the ruling patriotic front, but that he should not take it upon himself to influence congregants and citizens into supporting wrong things. He says it is unbelievable that Father Lupupa would go to the extent of supporting the rigging of elections in view of preventing some presidential hopefuls. He is confident that the Catholic Church will take appropriate action on the matter. This response is in relation to a video circulating on social media where the above sentiments were said.
Is a Christian nation, and the church and clergymen in general are regarded in high esteem when it comes to providing guidance on national matters. The church also plays a vital role in inculcating good morals in society. Just like traditional leaders, the church is expected to take a non-partisan stance on governance issues, but stand for unity, peace, and justice. But Catholic priest Father Laston Lupupa has attracted negative reaction from some members of the general public on social and mainstream media for suggesting that it is better to rig an election than to allow some people to govern.
Rig elections. Quote me.
Meanwhile, the opposition United Party for National Development says all well-meaning Zambians must condemn the statement by Father Lupupa. UPND Deputy Secretary General Patrick Mucheleka believes the comments made by Father Lupupa do not reflect the position of the Catholic Church, but his opinion.
Illegalities, including the rigging of elections, it is very unfortunate, and I think I want to believe that what is said does not in any way represent the Catholic Church, to which I'm, as I said, I'm not just a Catholic, but also having been privileged to work for the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops. At the time it was ZEKI. So I'm speaking from a very well-informed position. And what is said is wrong, and every person of goodwill, every person who wants free, fair, credible elections in this country should be able to condemn what Father Lupupa is said.
He is confident that the Catholic Church will take appropriate action.
Unfortunate that Father Lupupa can take his affiliation with the PF and think that he can influence the thinking of his parishioners in Matero. I'm not sure whether he's still parish priest there, although somebody told me that when we were inquired that he has even been removed, he is no longer a parish priest for Matero. But I also saw the statement that came from Father Cleophas Lungu, the Secretary General of the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, where they have referred the matter of Father Lupupa to his Father Lupupa's superiors, who are actually the Jesuits or the Society of Jesus.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Patriotic Front National Chairman Kelvin Sampa Thursday morning met some party officials in Lusaka's Matero East with the main message of unity and discipline among party members. Mr. Sampa also made a donation of some money to help the members mobilize the party in that area, stressing that the party will not support lawlessness both in and outside the party from its members. Mr. Sampa, who is also Kasama Central Member of Parliament, says all party members should respect the party's hierarchy, adding that disrespecting leaders who are appointed by the head of state is indirectly disrespecting the appointing authority. He has since advised all party leaders in structures to discipline all those that are insulting leaders, especially those appointed by the president. After Matero, Mr. Sampa proceeded to check on the Katondo Street branch in town.
Me, what I want to see is this discipline in our party. Anyone that is going to insult leaders like you, then he doesn't or she doesn't belong to the party. That is not what we should be encouraging. Anyone who misbehaves, there are branches, there are wards, there are constituencies, districts. We've got structures and people that are in these structures. Even disciplinary committees are there in these structures. It should not take me, the National Youth Chairman, to see that there's a youth who's misbehaving for me to go and take action. Imagine. No. Why do we have structures in place? It's high time we started disciplining those that think they are above you people and structures. There's no way a minister has been appointed by the president. You're insulting a minister. Do you know who you're insulting? You are actually insulting the appointing authority. Yes.
The Continental Leadership Research Institute, CLRI, has urged politicians and other interest groups to stay away from the retrogressive culture of politics of name-calling during the forthcoming campaigns for 2021 elections. In a statement issued to the media Thursday, Institute Executive Director Paul Hakola says the competition to serve people cannot be reduced to insults, but instead be measured with serious benchmarks of development indicators and policy frameworks of all political players. Mr. Hakola says the country cannot achieve meaningful development if politicians do not articulate their vision for the country on matters of national interest, such as policies on the fight against corruption. He has noted that as the country enters into a full campaign period, urging all politicians to sell their manifesto and not cause confusion.
Research Institute is an organization that deals in research-based advocacy. And one of the issues that we are dealing in is issues to do with policy. As we head to the elections on August 2021, we are very concerned about the issue to do with the fight against corruption. As an institute, we believe that all political players are supposed to come out clearly on the kind of policies that they have put in place in terms of the fight against corruption. We want to see that political parties categorically tell the Zambian people how is it that they are going to fight corruption in their manifestos, and also to come out clearly. We have seen at times where most of our political parties are busy name-calling each other. They are busy offering political rhetoric, but issues to do with policy has been far-fetched. For us, we believe that let there be advocacy that is issue-based, and we want to see how people are going to interrogate one another based on policy. And the fight against corruption is one of the key benchmarks for the 2021 elections. Why is it key? Because as a country, we cannot achieve development if the fight against corruption is neglected. Because it is like a maize field where you plant seeds and another person comes to remove the seeds. So you cannot achieve development if the fight against corruption is not a serious priority. For us, we believe that the fight against corruption is a benchmark of who should become president and who should be elected. Let there be a serious pronouncement in terms of the fight against corruption.
The Chipata City Council has launched the planting of trees to make the city green and reduce land degradation due to erosion. Zanis reports that the council is planting 7,000 seedlings in the city. This follows various organizations, including Japan Tobacco International, providing the tree seedlings as goodwill towards helping the local authority to fight climate change. The council has taken an ambitious program to resuscitate the vegetation cover on the hills of Chipata, where naturally growing trees have been depleted by people who are reclaiming and cutting down the trees in the hilly locations for housing and farming. Details in this report.
Climate change has continued to cause destruction in all corners of Zambia, making a lot of people to lose their property. In Mtilansembe area of Navutika compound in Chipata district in Eastern Province, many houses have collapsed due to human activities that affect the environment. Chipata City Council Mayor Sinoya Mwale has launched a tree planting in Navutika compound as an initiative towards the mitigation of climate change.
Now people, they have seen that we shouldn't plant maize on the hills. They have seen how people have suffered. The only way is to refrain. Let's go and find elsewhere to go and plant. Let's leave these hills for trees so that we receive favorable rains. So my appeal to any well-thinking Zambia should just stop cultivating on hill slopes. We just have to move together. That's why we have engaged them. We are not cutting anybody's maize or what we are saying. The owners of those fields, let's plant trees within their field so that next year they find elsewhere where they can go and cultivate.
This is the climate change activist in Chipata district.
Climate change is real and people are taking it serious. Just like coronavirus. People are not taking it serious. Unless when you start killing people, or when you start dying, or maybe in the years to come, the way the scientists are saying, the rains will just for 2 weeks, then the rains is over. Now, how are you going to survive? Because at this size where the maize is, the rains has gone. Until next year. So those are the issues, and these are written, and these are going to happen. Because what is happening, mankind has been fighting nature. Now nature is now started fighting back mankind. And this is the fight that nature is fighting mankind by giving us droughts and other related issues that are happening.
And these are the remarks from a resident in Navutika compound.
Zivuto imankhala kuti vintu vonongeka baviona. Paja pamene vafika pamwana wakanaphala ndiye pamene vaonekera kuti aitendi chitetere. Pamene iwo wali na mandate kuyangana kuti city kapena malo yathu yali motani. So now we need a strong policy or a bylaw that should be put in place to help mitigate such activities, because these are human activities.
Government, while working with its cooperating partners, is making concerted efforts targeted at educating the local citizenry about climate change and ways or methods of fighting it. Sylvester Chimba for Zanis in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
We now take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
about NARRATES? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, NARRATES is here. Advertise on NARRATES between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
NARRATES, allowing your business to grow.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Over 200 workers at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH, have accused management of failing to pay them their gratuities. A man whose identity has been withheld has told Camnet News in an interview that the contractual workers at UTH have not been paid their gratuities amounting to 6,000 kwacha. The man who represented the 200 workers say contracts were first signed in 2018 and expired in 2020 after 2 years of service. He says 6,000 was then supposed to be paid as gratuity in 2020, but that only 1,000 has been paid to them. When contacted for a comment, UTH Public Relations Manager Natalie Mashikolo has disputed the allegations. Details in this report.
Unemployment levels in the country is leading to panic among many youths who have given their best in attaining quality tertiary education. While education is key to success, one wonders why many educated people have remained beggars while others have continued to live frustrated lives. While survival is for the fittest, many youths have taken it upon themselves to not only wait to be employed but look for other avenues of generating income. And the story is not different for some contractual workers at the University Teaching Hospital. These workers have narrated to Camnet TV that they first signed their 2-year contract in 2018, which expired in 2020, and were since titled to a gratuity of 6,000 for the period served. However, despite working hard and under hard conditions and the threat of the COVID-19 pandemic, these workers have only received a small portion of their gratuity and are now worried they might not get their remaining monies. One of the workers has narrated the story.
Actually, 200 contractual workers. So, when we tina sign a contract na UTH. Last year, 2018. So, tina savinga ija 2 years. Tina savinga 2 years. Tinambia na utimu contract moja but pasa graduate. So paena sila contract wanatuza tembekezani for 1 month. Tisa kustani prepare ndaramazani. So paena sila 1 month tinambekeza so wanatipase ndarama. So vena ngo banaenda kufunza pamene kuja banaba uzati embekezani. So chameti pemba chakuti ba UTH stiza panabatika because bena ngo bana saving from 2018 bana mwarira bena ngo bakufana ma TB bena ngo bagwira na corona yameneyi. So ni friend mutufusire ko ku management yatu ndarama zakati pasatiti because ndarama yamatesta ko receive chabe ni 1 pin mandi mu 1 pin uzasebenza sachani bena ngo na ma families bena ngo momene bafuna kwenda ku maskuru.
The identified man has also narrated that some of his colleagues have ended up contracting COVID-19 while others have died leaving their monies behind.
Mukaendera kuri aba bakamba tembekezani tizembekeza kangati tinasena ngo contract 40 2022 mayona manje ndarama yo kaswaza tipasa hapa wasati pasality because na event tinasena contract ngati karibe kusira ikaendosira chabe tizavutana so fani mutifunsireko so that at least batipase ku ndrama zatu maona abantu bena ngo basebenza kuja kumbatrashi ndiye badoba vya syringes vija mayona ndi batengera na matenda bena ngo bafunta no funta because badoba vya blood vya abantu bodwara so tifana mutifunsireko ese.
And UTH Public Relations Manager Natalie Mashikolo has expressed ignorance over the matter.
I can't comment on that one because I don't have that information.
COVID-19 is not the only threat that these workers have received, but threats have also emerged from top management who have assured them of having their contracts terminated should the matter be reported to the media. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
The poor state of the road network in Kimasala compound of Northwestern Province has forced residents to be using bicycles as an alternative mode of transport. Residents of Mazabula Junction and Kimasala say buses are not reaching their area due to the bad state of the road. The situation is said to have made life difficult, as many, especially those conducting various businesses, are finding it hard to move. More in this report.
Sport is important because it enables communication, trade and other forms of exchange between people that in turn establishes civilization. Transport plays an important part in economic growth and globalization. In Zambia, the public transport sector plays a cardinal role in helping people move from one destination to the other in a cost-efficient manner. However, this is not the case for the people of Muzabula compound in Solwezi district who feel left behind. The people have resorted to using motorbikes as a mode of transportation from Kimasala compound to Muzabula junction due to the poor state of the road. The residents are concerned that they have limited options, hence they are compelled to pay 20 kwacha to access the motorbikes. One of the residents who spoke to Camnet News says the 20 kwacha fee is too exorbitant, thus calling on the government to work on the Kimasala Muzabula road so that they can start accessing public transportation.
Kwa sheko, au mkwa kwa watama, so javura tulo kunjita sana maonda. Nyotoka javura kei na kuenda sana ni mambo wa mkwa kwa kutama. Ni fio jukwa wa mvarunda. Mtengo kufuma pa pepa ya pa custody kikuya pa mtewa wakawa ni kwa ma 15 ku junction 20. So mwana wetu kwa shiko nombe wa government mwana.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Media Network on Child Rights and Development, MNCRD, is saddened by the non-introduction of the Children's Code Bill in the current sitting of the National Assembly, despite the approval of over 15 different bills by Cabinet during a meeting held on Monday, the 1st of February 2021. Organization Executive Director Henry Kawe says President Edgar Lungu and the Vice President Inonge Wina are on record of having directed the ministry responsible to ensure that the bill is introduced during the 12th session of Parliament. Mr. Kawe says the trend by government officials to ignore instructions by the highest office of the land is not only historical but unprecedented. He says the Children's Code Bill is intended to harmonize the pieces of legislation that affect children's protection, development and participation in Zambia. Mr. Kawe says its enactment will address a number of anomalies in the current legislation and ensure that duty bearers such as law enforcement agencies, ministries and civil society can effectively deal with issues affecting children.
We are appalled by the non-introduction of the Children's Code Bill to Parliament by the government despite the approval of over 15 different bills by the Cabinet during a meeting held on Monday, 1st February 2021. The President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Lungu, and the Vice President, Ms. Inonge Wina, have been on record directing the ministry responsible to ensure that the bill is introduced during the 12th session of Parliament. His Excellency the President promised the nation that the bill will be brought to the House during his address to Parliament on 30th September 2016, while the Vice President reiterated the call by directing the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Child Development to introduce the bill in November 2020. This trend by government officials to ignore instructions by the highest office of the land is not only historical but unprecedented. This even resulted in the Secretary to Cabinet warning permanent secretaries who never implemented directives because he noted this surprisingly laissez-faire attitude. In 2016, President Lungu told Parliament that the government was committed to introducing child participation in its systems. This was buttressed by Zambia's acceptance of a recommendation to have child participation in its governance during the Universal Periodic Review UPR session of the United Nations UN of 2017.
A 10-year-old girl has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that a 35-year-old Joseph Winga asked her for a second round after sexually abusing her and 3 others of her friends. This is in a case in which Winga, a builder of Chamba Valley, stands charged with 4 counts of defilement contrary to the laws of Zambia. He is accused of defiling 4 girls aged 10 and 9 with the 2 others aged 13 at the same time. The victim, who is in grade 4 at a named primary school in Lusaka, also testified that one of the victims, aged 13, got the accused's bedsheets, samples, and shoes as payment for having sexual intercourse with them before they left the accused's place. More in this report.
Arrested for a second round after allegedly defiling me and 3 of my friends, a 10-year-old victim told the court on Thursday morning in her testimony. Recalling what transpired to her on the 3rd of July 2020, the victim, who is in grade 4 at a named school in Lusaka, testified that the man she referred to as Bajo, after sexually abusing her, demanded to do it once more, but she refused and rushed to the door, requesting to go home. The 10-year-old was testifying before Lusaka Magistrate Friday Samaundu in a case in which a 35-year-old Joseph Winga, a builder of Chamba Valley, is accused of defiling 4 minors on the same day. The victims alleged to have been defiled are aged between 13 and 9. The victim testified that on the material day, she was playing with 3 of her friends who are also victims in the case. And suddenly, they saw the grandmother of the 13-year-old victim, who requested that they escort her and the accused to his place. After they reached the accused place, the grandmother of the 13-year-old victim entered the house with the accused while they remained playing outside. However, she left shortly, leaving the 4 victims at the accused place. The accused is alleged to have found an opportunity to take advantage of the 4 girls when they requested for water to drink, and he ushered them into his house and locked the house with keys. The victim testified that the accused firstly called the 13-year-old victim to his bedroom and later called them. At this point, the 10-year-old victim gave chilling evidence of how the accused made her and 2 others watch how he was allegedly having carnal knowledge with the 13-year-old victim. She testified that he ordered them to remove all their clothes and started calling them one at a time, and she was the last person to be defiled. She added that whilst leaving the accused place, the 13-year-old victim got the accused bedsheets and shoes as payment for having carnal knowledge with them. The matter has since been adjourned to the 26th of February 2021 for continued trial. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A 21-year-old general worker of Charleston area has been dragged to court for allegedly beating a police officer using fists and kicks after he tried to stop him from fighting with another person. This is in a case where Patrick Musonda is charged with assault on a police officer. Allegations are that Musonda, on the 16th of December 2020, assaulted Anthony Gilanda, a police officer, while in due execution of his duty. On the material day, Mr. Gilanda, while in uniform, was walking near Chris Mall in Charleston area, where members of the public alerted him that 2 people were fighting, and if not separated, one would kill another. It was at this point that Mr. Gilanda, who works at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, tried to separate the 2 from fighting, but in the process, Musonda and the other person he was fighting with started beating Mr. Gilanda using fists and kicks. The accused was not in court when the case was allocated to Magistrate Alice Awalusiku for his plea. And moving on in the news, The Constitutional Court has ruled that there is no provision in the Constitution which allows for a councillor to rescind their resignation when submitted to the local authority. The judges note that a vacancy in the office of a councillor occurs once a 1 month notice period elapses. This is in a matter in which Isaac Mwanza, democracy and governance specialist at Young African Leaders Initiative, had petitioned the court to determine the validity and constitutionality of a by-election conducted when a councillor resigns but later withdraws their resignation. The petition came after two UPND councillors for Chilongozi and Muyambala wards decided to rescind their decision to resign from their positions. More in this report.
From their position as United Party for National Development UPND councillors, they rescind their decision.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steven, councillor for Muyambala wards. I think my coming of here is to actually inform the people of Muyambala, Mfumbo district, even the country at large, that I have rescinded my decision that I made in the first press to say I will resign from I was just received by few individuals, but I thought I should serve my people of Muyambala. The ones who ushered me into the office. So I think what I did in the first place wasn't wasn't good to my people. So I thought I should serve the people of Muyambala, even the district at large, also the party, the UPND. For me to be who I am right now is because of the UPND party. So I'm just requesting the PF to respect my decision. I'm here to declare that I'm UPND and I'm still the councillor for Muyambala ward.
Now, the Constitutional Court has ruled that there is no provision in the Constitution which allows for a councillor to rescind their resignation when submitted to the local authority. In its judgment delivered on the 4th February 2021, the Constitutional Court judges note that a vacancy in the office of a councillor occurs once a 1 month notice period lapses. This is in a matter in which Isaac Mwanza, a democracy and governance specialist at Young African Leaders Initiative, had petitioned the court to determine the validity and the constitutionality of a by-election conducted when a councillor resigned but later withdraws their resignation. Later, the petition came after two UPND councillors of Chilongozi and Muyambala wards decided to rescind their decision to resign from their position. The Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Attorney General were the respondent in the matter. Mr. Mwanza wanted an interpretation on whether or not Article 157(2)(b) of the Constitution provides for rescinding a valid resignation, thereby compiling the elections body to conduct a by-election. But ECZ argued that it cannot be held accountable for the decision taken by the two councillors of Chilongozi and Muyambala wards to resign and later retract their resignation. In delivering judgment, the court also said that even where a letter of notice of resignation has been submitted, a councillor continues to perform their obligation under the contract. The resignation letter does not end the relationship but is evidence of the employee's decision to end the relationship. The petitioner is satisfied with the verdict and intends to write to the Attorney General for the councillors who rescind their decision when they resigned to vacate office. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
We take another set of commercials to stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant Save Nations to Develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown. And we are proud to be one of those.
"2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GoTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now look at international news. Ex-Ugandan rebel commander Dominic Ongwen has been convicted of war crimes at the International Criminal Court. Thursday's historic ruling also saw him convicted of forced pregnancy, a legal first at an international court. Ongwen, a feared commander of the notorious Lord's Resistance Army, LRA, is the first member of the LRA to appear before the court. He was convicted on 61 out of 70 counts of crimes against humanity and war crimes he faced. The charges relate to attacks on 4 groups for internally displaced people in Uganda in 2004, where more than 4,000 victims provided testimony in the ICC case. Ongwen's sentence is to be handed down at a later date. He could face life imprisonment. This case presented a dilemma to the court as Ongwen appeared to be both the victim and the alleged perpetrator. He said he was abducted by the LRA and forced to be a child soldier before going on to rise up the ranks to become the deputy to LRA Commander Joseph Kony. In other news, still on the international front, the U.S. government is warning violent right-wing groups may be encouraged by the riot at the Capitol building last month. The Department of Homeland Security's threat assessment analysts are suggesting there may be additional attacks, and there are concerns conspiracy theories are continuing to fuel hate. Here's a roundup.
On deep web message boards and social media, many conspiracy theorists are expressing dismay and disappointment following President Joe Biden's inauguration last month.
There's just belief that somehow Trump was going to come out victorious and that there would be all these kind of Democratic figures sort of put on trial.
Adherents of the conspiracy theory QAnon, some of whom were involved in the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, believe leading Democratic politicians are part of a global cabal of pedophilic cannibals. Some of them have now rejected that bizarre belief system, but some are gravitating to more militant groups.
So the big wild card that I think we're looking at in the United States is not whether we have an insurgency, but how fast and how hot it will run.
I will say that the rhetoric among far-right extremists is hot. I don't think it's ever been hotter than it's been as long as I've been covering it.
Racism, anti-Semitism, and hatred of so-called elites have deep roots in American society and culture. Scholars say that's not going to disappear.
The hardest edges of that movement are going to be around. We have an insurgency. And the issue is, who's going to lead this insurgency? What are the leaders and ideological pinnings of this insurgency going to be? Because it's around grievance.
The Republican Party that enabled Trump for years has seen an influx of hardcore conspiracy theorists. For example, newly elected Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is a firm believer in the QAnon fantasy.
So many Americans are blind, and when they hear these stories about pedophiles and they hear these stories about satanic worship, they don't want to believe it's true. They just don't.
Another possibility, far-right and conspiracy groups may split with Republicans and form their own party.
And if we see some kind of breakaway political party or some kind of charismatic, telegenic, or other type of leader, that will supercharge the risk.
What seems almost certain is that the threat of right-wing political violence, whether perpetrated by so-called lone wolves targeting minorities or more organized plots against the government and its officials, will be a feature of the American political landscape for some time to come.
Let's get into sports news. Derby boss Wayne Rooney accused Rotherham chairman Tony Stewart of being a bit disrespectful during Wednesday's championship match. Stewart denied there was any foul language. There are some good losers and there are some bad losers, and that goes in the latter category. Rotherham chairman Tony Stewart has defended the actions of his board members after they were criticized by Derby boss Wayne Rooney following the Millers 3-0 championship win on Wednesday night. Rooney accused Stewart and his directors of lacking class and being disrespectful for the careless way they celebrated a vital 3 points, which included loud shouting and one director singing a song. The game was supposed to be played on Tuesday night, but was postponed an hour before kickoff, with both clubs working hard to rearrange within 24 hours. Had they not been able to do that, they would have had to wait until April for a slot in the fixture list, and Rotherham directors' chant at full time was that the Rams should not have been so keen to rearrange so quickly. Stewart denied there was any foul language and said the song was a friendly banter. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. UPND leader HAKAINDE HICHILEMA urges ACC to speed up honeybee investigations. Health Minister directs ZEMA to investigate indiscriminate waste disposal in CHILENJE. 10-year-old girl narrates how a 35-year-old man defiled her and 3 other girls in the Lusaka Magistrate Court. In international news, former Ugandan child soldier convicted of war crimes. And in sports news, Rotherham chairman Tony Stewart responds to Wayne Rooney's criticism after Champions win over Derby. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Acts 4 verse 12, and it reads, "There is salvation in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to people, and we must be saved by it." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.